Let's take a look at YOODO GANK a little bit closer with the magnifying glasses. These guys stood out yesterday, that is for sure. Very, very even across the board for a lot of them. Jumper really standing out as one of the absolute blasters when it comes to this squad as well. And for me personally, some of the chicken dinners that they were able to accrue came off the back of some of his individual plays. If he'd have not dealt with BTR, for example, on Vikendi, I feel like that could have gone a completely different way.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to the trust on a teammate, but also making sure that the team is on the same page. What are we going to do? What do we need to do? And how do we do it? And that's something we're going to talk about, and we're going to break it down later on to look at.
Here's YOODO and everybody that was able to really stand out for them. Fredo, Manpangarang, they're able to just do a lot of work on the battlegrounds yesterday, Avenger.
Yeah, honestly, the performance with 3 wins in a row, it's going to be probably not seen again here in this tournament. It's so rare that you're able to win back to back to back, especially in a competition
on this level.
On this level here, it's absolutely insane because you might be like you're playing at home and you might be able to get 2, 3, 4 wins in a row, but you're not playing against somebody that is literally some of the best in the world when you're playing there. So doing it here is just an insane performance. Yes, they did kind of. They took the advantage of the circles they were given as well, but they also made some fantastic plays, made some massive rotations that really worked well out for them.
And they're adapting on the spot, on the point whenever it's needed. Sometimes they need to rotate far. Sometimes they need to play and hold the edge because the next circle is not going to be beneficial for you to go in straight away. And that is something that we've seen from YOODO a lot during yesterday. And I mean, we want to see more of that. When do you take that action? When do you not take that action?
Here on Miramar, of course, they had to push up against T1 over at Hacienda, and it could have been different if T1 had been a bit more vigilant about the holdout, but YOODO worked with what they were given and made a fantastic push of it here in Hacienda.
I will say, though, the T1 did a really valiant effort to how they were holding on. They got a knock. They decided to say, you know what, guys, I think the high ground and the roof is better because BTR and Orange Rock was still fighting in that longhouse south of Hacienda. So I actually feel like they made a really good play from it. YOODO just won 2 opening 1v1s, and they just completely turned that around for them. So it's not much you can do for T1 side there when you lose 2 1v1s.
I mean, again, it comes down to the decision making. And we saw that T1, they had one guy that got knocked, and they wanted to keep that man up for the late game.
Yeah.
So they just fell back instead, let YOODO GANK come in because they can also utilize that, using YOODO GANK to actually kill the other teams, and then they could just move on further on in the game.
Yeah, of course, as we were previously mentioning, Jumper was one of the guys that was able to stand out. I mean, it's funny because how do you stand out amongst a team that has got themselves 3 chicken dinners? Because literally every player was stand out throughout yesterday. But for the situation that I was alluding to earlier on Vikendi was something that was super important for me for a Jumper.
Yeah, it's super important. Not only that situation, but there's so many times we see Jumper actually coming in with a clutch moment, playing by himself while the others on the team is actually pushing in, trying to make themselves into the circle, taking a good position. And they trust Jumper to actually taking care of their back, making sure that he's holding the other teams out or wiping them out, making sure that it's just free.
The synergy on YOODO yesterday, and I feel like the communications, I would have loved to listen to even though I don't know the language. I feel like they are so on point yesterday. Like the communications has been on point, the synergy was on point, like the team chemistry has just been so good for them because everything they were doing was just so synchronized. Like they were working together as a unit, and so at this level you're expecting that, but it was just within the millisecond. We have seen it multiple times, where we've seen pushes where they push 1v1, loses 1v1, even though it's a 3v1 situation, but yesterday we saw a lot of really synergized play.
I think to that point, we've seen sometimes, in the PMPL a little bit, here in the PMWL as well, some teams, like a circle will shift and there's minor hesitation. Like, where are we going to go in that point?
Right.
YOODO yesterday had the discussion though, but were bang on straight away. We are going here. We are making this move happen. And it was really, really cool to see. But we can move on here from YOODO GANK for the moment.